Thank you very much for your presentation. Today I am presenting this work on behalf of colleague students. The students are Mariana, Peña, Mónica, Martínez, Salma, Gómez. The professor director of this work is Maria Guadalupe. I will try to explain this work as best as I can and to answer any questions you may have, all right? This presentation is structured as follows: an introduction about the work, the objective. We will be mixing methodology and results as we have three cases of studies: Oaxaca, Chihuahua, Mexico City, and finally conclusions. Well, there is a fact, very important, that is that world reaches 1% cause double CO2 emissions of the purest 50%. This relates directly to climate change. And there is also a very uncomfortable truth, that is that climate change affects everyone, but not in the same way. That is called climate inequality. And it's directly related to economic inequality, as we will show as follows. Mexico, our country, is one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change for three main reasons. One is geographical location. We are located amidst two oceans, Atlantic and Pacific. We are subjected to hurricanes, cyclones from these both sides. The Tropic of Cancer crosses our country almost by the half, so we have different climates. We have also problems of socioeconomic status, very high inequality, and public policies are often not enough to have a better society and more prepared for climate change. So the objective of this work was to design adaptation and resilience strategies to the effects of climate change in Mexico through a vulnerability study that considers climatic, geographic, and socioeconomic criteria. The methodology was as follows. First, phase one, to assess the vulnerability analysis of the country. This was a bibliographical study. Afterwards, the students performed vulnerability per state. This was calculated according to some criteria and some indexes from GIS, the GIS institution. The phase three is the design of strategies to combat these inequalities. The phase four are the scenarios and decision making. So, in general, students selected indicators according to the GIS repository. They converted values from percentage to decimals in order to have quotients, coefficients, and factors. They gathered information about the exposition, sensibility, adaptive capacity of the indicators they were assessing. They weighted, they aggregated those indicators according to several formulas, such as the potential impact and the vulnerability. Finally, the result gave them a value from 0 to 1, 0 being the lowest, the non-vulnerable, and 1 the highest vulnerability. So afterwards, after analyzing the whole country, they analyzed the global, the gross domestic product per capita, the Human Development Index. They selected three cases of studies. One with the highest gross domestic product per capita with the highest Human Development Index, which they selected finally Mexico City. One with the medium of those values, which was Chihuahua, and one with the lowest of those values, which was Oaxaca. Afterwards, they analyzed what vulnerabilities they had. So they selected that for Mexico City, flooding was a very important vulnerability from climate change. For Chihuahua, the stress water, and from Oaxaca, the landslidings. Well, we will start with Oaxaca. I will give you a brief introduction about those states. First, Oaxaca, very beautiful. Right, Sandra? It is a state with warm weather, subhumid temperatures, 20 zones in danger of landslide susceptibility, which are a lot. They have a lot of rural municipalities. It is a seismic zone, volcanic with heavy rainfall. 91.5% of the population lives in poverty, and it is a coastal zone. The combination of these factors made that the study focused on La Esperanza municipality in Santiago de Comaltepec in the Sierra Norte. These were the impacts and the calculations they performed: the exposure, sensitivity, potential impact, adaptative capacity. Combining those factors according to the formula we saw before, they achieved that vulnerability of 0.81. The scenarios they proposed to diminish that vulnerability was, according to fight the landsliding, 3 scenarios composing by reinforcement, either vegetable in the scenario 1, synthetic reinforcement, and synthetic reinforcement in scenarios 2 and 3. The retaining walls, different materials, recycled wood, concrete, and the reforestation was the same in all these scenarios. In the low part, you can see the amount of the scenario, how much would it cost. So, base case scenario is the left bar. These 3 scenarios were achieved a reduction of the vulnerability around 19 to 21%. They were almost similar, but they have very different results of the cost of these technologies of this scenario. So we are focusing on scenario 2, which costs like $5,140. The both scenarios on the side is 7 times that cost, and the other one it's 1,000 times that. So they have a big difference depending on the materials they are going to use. This will lead to analysis, to discussion with the communities, to sensibility of the community, and to public policies. In Chihuahua, very different state. It is located in the north part of Mexico, low rainfall and very dry climate. 90% of available water goes to agriculture. Agriculture is organized in 9 districts. The 9th district is almost 60% of the water they use is wastewater treated water, and most of the water comes from already overexploited aquifers. So they focus in Chihuahua to analyze agricultural areas in this already stressed water zone. So they focus in district number 5. Those are the values, the results. District number 5 is the greater in territorial extension. It has the highest water consumption per year, and it is located around overexploited aquifers, but with a proximity to wastewater treatment plant. So the scenarios proposed change of irrigation equipment with a 9% increase, improved irrigation, different techniques, drip irrigation, micro sprinkler irrigation, the combination of these 2, and the use of treated wastewater depending on the location of the wastewater treatment plant and the different costs for those technologies. Well, again, similar reductions for the 3 scenarios, being some of them not so costly compared to the scenario 1. The scenario 1 is $44 million. The others were 2.5 that value and 1.9 that value. Lastly, Mexico City, which we encourage you to visit if you don't know it. Very beautiful. Subhumid temperature climate, hard to anticipate storms. It has a collapsed drainage system. It has excessive urbanization, and 77% of the population lives in poverty. However, remember that this state and this city has the highest gross domestic product of the country. So highest inequality. The students overlapped map of floods of flood stagnant areas, and they determined that in Iztapalapa, yes, in the municipality of Iztapalapa, 11 vulnerable colonies, among them the most vulnerable of the city. They determined those values, and they determined a vulnerability of 0.90. The scenarios, well, the scenarios, there are techniques for avoiding flooding, which are called sustainable urban drainage systems. So they did a selection about combining different of these strategies. I remember that there are like more than 10, 20. So they did several assumptions. Proposed a scenario 1 with infiltration trenches, storage tanks, a scenario 2 with permeable paving and bioretention areas, a scenario 3 with 3 technologies, bioretention areas, green ditches, and storage tanks with different costs of all of them. And well, the scenarios work. They diminish the vulnerability. It is a very good reduction, about 46%, 43%. And with different values of $240,000, 7.9 times that value, and 1.4. So they concluded the following. Oaxaca is the most vulnerable state. Scenario 1 is the most accurate, but there is a mistake. It is also the highest one, so they have to reanalyze that value. In Chihuahua, faces one of the most expensive consequences due to potential scarcity. Scenario 1 was the best with the lowest investment compared to other scenarios. And Mexico City, what I said about the gross domestic product and human development index, well, flooding is the risk. So I believe that scenario 1 was the most favorable one of the proposed one. So this is a reality that climate action requires adaptation and mitigation measures. This project is related to 5 of the ODS, of the objectives of sustainable development. The 9th about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. 10, the reduced inequalities. 11, sustainable cities and communities. Climate action in the 13th, and partnership for the goals. These scenarios, these reduction strategies of vulnerability can be achieved by their own, by the own government. It has to be the population, the government, and also the capital, the industries. They have to be more socially conscious. So we can highlight that vulnerabilities result not only from geographical position, but as we saw, from socioeconomic circumstances. Moreover, the study proposed strategies capable of reducing inequality by integrating participatory community strategies to ensure sustainability of these communities. Well, they are the ones that are going to be benefited from this. And social inequality is decisive when facing climate change. Holistic strategy is necessary to reduce inequalities and allow adequate adaptation. Well, this is the team that performed this study, and I'll be glad to answer any question you may have. And if no, we can write anytime to our colleagues. Thank you.